Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Thanks, Jim.
Larry, any new news from American Manganese this week?
Well, aside from reducing the price of the private placement we're doing, which I was forced to do as we were driven down, and by other forces which I'll discuss here later on. But in order to get the money, I felt that it would be fair to reduce the price down from 24 to 20 cents, and we're moving ahead with that. We're just waiting for exchange approval, and we can move on. And the other release, which was obviously a very positive release, in which Trump has manifested a goal for domestic mining and critical mineral supply chains. Now, this is a really important release, and perhaps judging by the fact that there's so much selling going on in the stock, it must have been bad. But I'm just saying that tongue-in-cheek, because the thing that you should really look at is more funding will be available to help mining projects. And that's exactly what the U.S. will have to do with some of their critical metals, is assist in the pricing, so that the companies that are doing it can make a profit or raise the money to, with the help of the U.S. government, to move a project ahead. And we fit in that category. I mean, manganese has been talked about a lot, and we have a lot of manganese at Artillery Peak, and we have a patented process to actually treat these low-grade ores. We've taken that process to the point of where it was a actual pre-feasibility study that the price of it was a race to the bottom, you might say. When they came out with first time they notified the banks that they would be getting rid of the uptick rule in February of 2011, it was a race to the bottom whether the stocks were going to who was going to crater first, and manganese and the stuff that we were putting out on our pre-feasibility study cratered about the same time, so that was put on the shelf. But with assistance, the U.S. has really got to do something about having manganese within their domestically for moving everything ahead, whether it's batteries, whether it's steel production. You can't make manganese without steel, and if you don't have steel, the world stops. These are all great things, and we also had a mention in Forbes, which again must have been perceived by the investors out there as negative, because we haven't really gone up on all this. We've traded well over 1 million shares in the U.S. and Canada, and here we are, up a penny and a half, and it's staggering to believe that wow, that was not perceived as positive. And in that vein, I'd like to move forward, because we've been getting a lot of criticism on the bull boards as the volume increases in the U.S. and Canada, and I'll address that in a moment. The negativity on the board is astounding. First, let's talk about my age. Well, my age is what it is, and actually I'm the guy that carried this whole company on his back for 5 years in order to make my shareholders whole again, or partially whole again, and the stock jumped 18 times when we got involved in the battery industry. At the same time, the predators that were, if you can believe it or not, they must have been trying to drive the company into oblivion. And I do know who one of them is, and I know that he probably lost $500,000 on this little escapade, but and I think he's a key player in the predatory trading that's going on now. So that's the first time I've said I've got to pretty good inkling of who the one of the ringleaders is. But the whole matter is that why would you basically short a stock at 2 cents? Because covering the rise in that stock when we talked about our proof of concept being positive was a large part due to short covering. And short covering cost them millions of dollars across the board. And so, they do hate my guts. And, and I hope to do this to them again. So, predator trading, which I've talked a lot about, more so than Save Canadian Mining has broke a lot of people. A lot of people have lost billions of dollars over the last few years trading on the junior stocks and the major Toronto Stock Exchange. And it's still going on today. I mean, it's not investigated by the regulatory authorities or by IROC. It's they only investigate if your stock goes up 20%. So it's a crime to have your stock go up, and it's not a crime to steal all the shareholders' money. So on that vein, they talk about what we're doing here, and I even know some of the people that talk about my age and I should step down and all that. That's the sort of thing that goes on every time. And the last time it went on, the board boosted me and Mike off the board, and all the shareholders lost all their money. At one time it had a $300 million value. And they lost it all. So, is that what they want here? Of course, that's what the predators want. They want to see it driven into oblivion. But let's just talk about what's going on. I've been asked to address the fact that we haven't put out a press release on what's happening at the pilot plant for a bit because work is ongoing. And we hope to have a press release on that very soon. Nothing negative. We have put out nothing negative. So the company shouldn't be under the attacks that it's on. We've done 52 podcasts with you a year, Jim. We have 32 press releases out this year alone so far. It'll probably be about 40. 40 third-party valuations and discussions with some respectable papers out there. The most recent being Forbes. And we've traded roughly 140 million shares between the two exchanges each year, which shows there's a lot of liquidity, but half of that is predator trading. And if you look at the last couple of weeks or 3 weeks, you'll see that ever since we announced the private placement, that the trading in the Canadian market and the U.S. market is almost identical. Today it is identical. And that is, basically an arbitrage trade where they can sell or buy stock in the U.S. at fabricated prices between themselves and then sell it on the Canadian exchange, driving the price down. Now, anybody that thinks I'm crazy, they just have to look at the facts of the whole matter. I just gave you our agenda, what we've done, and it's frustrating to me to see the stock at this rate as it is anyone else. I'm heavily invested in this stock, and I've got no reason to hold it down like the bull boards. And my health is fine, and also my age just gives me more wisdom. I've never come out and directly attacked the predator traders, but I think it's time everybody realized just how they operate, and it's time that somebody knew that I know who he is, and we go from there. So, So, looking at the stock today, 20.5 cents, 583,000 on the venture exchange, 529,000 in the U.S. So, when you think about going on the bull boards, listening to the BS that goes on there, the bull boards and the CEO boards, maybe you should take a look at the market the way it's trading. It's a hard job to just keep ahead of that. And, we've got a great crew in here. We've got people that are dedicated, people that are work hard. We have 4 employees for the most part, and so our overhead is low. We're not sucking on well, let's be honest, the tit. And, we're not getting rich getting salaries in here. So, it's all they can talk about is my age. Well, it is what it is, and, I'm not going to apologize for that. There's nothing I can do about that. There is something I can do about predator trading. And, eventually somebody will come in and see a nice setup to bounce a stock, to higher levels by starting to buy up the stock and forcing the predators to cover. And because there is a lot of there's money to be made there, and somebody's going to recognize that. So other than that, Zarko did his podcast today, and that was well received and well delivered. And we hopefully can attach that to this podcast. We will be attaching other things to it. And I can tell you that, again, I will repeat, that all of our releases have been positive, except where we're influenced by third parties, and that is to do with the private placements. And but other than that, the technology is solid, the work is solid, it's third party. We've spent millions of dollars on tens of millions of dollars actually on our manganese projects and this recycling project. And we plan to move this ahead, and basically anybody that has patience can recognize that we have a solution, and we have the transparency that nobody else has except for Redwood materials, and let's just keep plugging ahead day by day. Thanks, Jim.
Larry, for people new to American Manganese, what's the company all about?
The company's all about critical metals and, of course, our other gold and copper projects. But critical metals is where it got us today, and coming up with a solution for a circular economy in recycling batteries. And that was a result of a solution that we divulged, that Temetco had made for us back in 2011-12, where we have a patented process for for low-grade ores. Now, anything you want to find out, I don't know why people don't go to the site and look at things. The fact of the matter is the BO boards and the CEO boards are negative, and they have show their whole wrong picture on everything. And they put their whole purposes is to shake up the shareholders, get them to sell to assist in driving the stock down. And you can go to our website, AmericanManganeseInc.com, read the truth, and or you can phone me at 778-574-4444. Or email me at LREAUGH@AMYMN.com. Traded on the Venture Exchange under the symbol AMY. We're traded on the U.S. Exchange under the symbol AMYZF, and we're traded in Frankfurt under the symbol 2AM.
Larry, thank you very much for the update.
Okay, Jim.
We've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on October 2nd.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.